Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Thank you so much for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel, back at it. It's Tuesday. Thank you for your indulgence with yesterday. Still a lot going on behind the scenes. I appreciate you very, very much, again, for your indulgence with this. But we are excited to be back in here. We got some good local stuff coming up later this week. We had some great local shows last week with the mayor of SLO. And then those interview with Citizen the artist. That was pretty incredible too. Today, though, he has trained UFC champions. He's helped shape Olympic-level mindsets. And he spent years studying what happens when human beings are pushed to their absolute limit. But Santino DeFranco isn't just talking about fighting in his new book, Fight Ready. He's using the world of MMA kind of as a window into something much, much bigger. Discipline, body recovery, mental recovery, self-belief, fear, identity, and the daily battles we all face, especially when nobody's watching. From weight cuts to anxiety, and that might be something that they deal with, but how about burnout to breakthroughs? DeFranco argues that the same principles that create world-class athletes, they can help the rest of us navigate pressure, setbacks, and just life's toughest moments, really. So coming up, a chat about why the most dangerous people are often the calmest in the room, why fear might actually be your friend, and what it really means to be fight ready when life starts throwing haymakers at you. And heck, with UFC in the news, albeit for whatever reasons, this one is going to land pretty appropriately. So can't wait to introduce Santino to you. Before that, this story, I got a headline here. And my God, what is this world? Are we like in a simulation? Now, what is going on? A 14-year-old in Boston arrested after police say he armed robbed, you ready for this? Wait for it, a kid's lemonade stand. Yeah, a lemonade stand. According to investigators, a group of kids selling lemonade in South Boston when a 14-year-old allegedly approached, displayed what appeared to be a firearm, and demanded money from the kids. Kids handed over their cash. What, like $6? In quarters, maybe? A suspect took off. Police were called. They tracked down the 14-year-old. A short time later, recovered what they believed to be was the weapon used in the incident. The good news, nobody hurt. The better news, the community immediately rallied around the young entrepreneurs. After word spread, donations started pouring in, turning what was supposed to be a bad day into a pretty remarkable one. So a kid who tried to steal a few bucks from a lemonade stand ended up creating one of the most profitable lemonade businesses in South Boston. Well, that's a cool ending. All's well that ends well, but armed robbery on a lemonade stand? And talk about depravity. Yes. I don't know. That just sounds like, oh my God, what are we in? What's going on around us? All right. I want to talk about slowfreeparking.com. You know, parking downtown SLO been an issue for a minute, but guess what? Yeah, we fixed it. Parking in downtown SLO is easy when you park on the new parking structure at Napomo and Palm. It's that cultural arts district structure. It's brand new. Then you head into La Esquina, maybe Mama's Meatball, maybe Mastora, and they will validate your parking. So that's right. Free downtown parking in SLO. Yep. So whether it's tacos and margs at La Esquina, maybe some pizza or lasagna at Mama's Meatballs, or how about those bold Peruvian flavors at Mastura, your parking is covered. Park, eat, validate, done. Get the full details. Go to slowfreeparking.com.
It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, our guest today wore a lot of hats. Professional MMA fighter, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, college English teacher, elite UFC coach, and now author, Santino DeFranco, has helped guide champions. I mean, there's some big names, the Korean Zombie, Tracy Cortez. I mean, if you're in the UFC, you definitely know these, but the idea is what makes his work so compelling isn't just what happens inside an octagon. His book, Fight Ready, it's about performance, recovery, resilience, and the mental tools we need to succeed in any area of life. Super excited to have you on, Santino. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me. And I'm finally happy to be on a West Coast radio show. We've been doing all this East Coast nonsense, and I'm in Arizona, San Luis Obispo. You guys have Cal Poly. You guys actually have a wrestling program.
Right.
Bunch of programs are getting rid of the wrestling programs throughout the country, and Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo is holding strong. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, it has been tough when you read about these headlines of things. I think, but they did. I don't know if they lost swimming or things are tough right now. They're tough right now, aren't they?
They are, and it's crazy because wrestling is actually a really growing sport throughout the country, especially women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is one of the fastest growing sports right now. In colleges and university all across the country have just now started putting in women's college teams, which is great to see. The youth side of it, like, man, the sport is blowing up. And a lot of these endowments for the programs are actually doing really well financially, yet they're still kind of cutting some of these programs. I don't know if it's Title IX or really what. I think as a whole, I think a lot of universities are struggling, for different reasons throughout the country, and maybe that has something to do with it, but I don't know. But yeah. San Luis Obispo, we're holding strong.
Yep. Well, look, you write about these brutal MMA weight cuts, fighters going from, borderline unhealthy to elite performance mode in a matter of just weeks. And honestly, Santino, it feels like a metaphor for modern life. Everyone's trying to transform overnight. What have years around fighters taught you about the difference between discipline and like self-destruction?
I think it comes down to habits. It comes down to we are going to do whatever we're comfortable doing. And habits are uncomfortable when we're trying to learn them or when we're trying to break them, right? Like when we're trying to build a new habit, it's awkward, it's clunky, it doesn't feel right, it's new, it's uncomfortable. And when we're trying to break a habit, the same thing. So if we create healthy habits, look, I want to wake up at the same time every day. I want to eat the same breakfast every day. I want that. And everybody does. As humans, think about how many people have stayed in a relationship that they didn't want to be in because it was comfortable. I mean, we would rather be comfortable than happy, right? And so if you build good habits, then you are comfortable doing those things. Then eating chicken and rice most days is normal to you. It doesn't feel weird. If you have the occasional drink or the occasional ice cream, you're okay with that. It's not freaking you out, and you can continue on your good habits even if you fall off every once in a while. Everything comes down to consistency and habits. And if we build good habits, we build a consistent lifestyle.
We always think the opponent is standing across from us in the cage, right? But I get that sometimes that's not true. In your experience, what's the real opponent most people are fighting every day? Is it ego? Is it fear, shame, distraction, imposter syndrome, right?
It's all of that. So the mirror tells all. That's the only person we're competing against every day is us. And we have to compete against ourselves every single day, because if we don't, we're going to get a little bit lazier, a little bit sloppier. We're not going to try quite as hard. And think about a house, right? If you buy a house, brand new house, and you don't do anything, well, at the end of the year, it's 2% worse, and then 2% worse, and 2% worse. And then little by little, your house is dilapidated, right? And so every single year, every single month, something breaks, we have to fix it. We have to upkeep. That's just to stay where we started. That's to stay at ground level just for our house. We're not even adding an addition. All right. Think about money. We have to make 3, 4, 5% more every year just from inflation to buy the same amount of stuff as we did last year. That's not even, so if we stay the same, If we stay the same, we're actually losing year after year after year. So we have got to force ourselves to be better every single day, just a little bit, just a little push in the back. We don't need to be sprinting. We need to be jogging at that comfortable level that you could do for hours and hours and hours. And somebody's behind us just pushing us a little bit faster than where we want to stay in our comfort zone. And that at least is gonna move us forward, because if we stay treading water, eventually we're gonna drown.
There's something fascinating about people who choose to dedicate their lives to combat, because truly dangerous people often seem like the calmest in the room. Do you think learning how to fight actually teaches people? I feel like, I did martial arts as a kid until I became like 18, 19. You know what's wonder, like when you're learning how to fight, actually teaches you how not to fight.
It does. It teaches you how to understand what is worth what you're doing. And you don't have to, when you actually know how to fight, you don't have to prove anything. And isn't that what most like fights are? Most street fights are, I'm trying to prove something to someone. We're not really fighting for a cause. We're fighting for ego. And, really competition of any sort teaches us self-confidence. And then once we have self-confidence, we're not doing stuff for other people. We're doing it for us, whether it's somebody trying to fight us, whether it's looking at our neighbor's nice car and being jealous of it. It's self-confidence lets us look in the mirror, and we're okay with that. All right. And that's the only critic that we have to look at is the one in the mirror. And then your really close friends and family. You don't want to let them down. Everybody else, who cares?
Mm-hmm. I love it. I almost want to expand on that, because you talk openly about nerves, anxiety in the book, because fighters get stereotyped as like fearless, and that's just not human. I mean, what's the biggest misconception people have about fear when it comes to elite performers?
Well, fear is a good thing. Fear keeps us engaged. It keeps us ready. It keeps us on edge. It's that fight or flight moment where we've got to react. I've always told people, anytime, I've heard this too many times. I've heard it too many times throughout my career. A fighter, we're in the back, we're warming up, and somebody says, I'm not even nervous. And I go, well, and I don't say this, but somebody says that, I know for a fact, as well as I know my name, we're about to go lose a fight. Because if you're not nervous for something, that means that you don't care. Mm-hmm. And if you are nervous for something, if you fear something, if you have that anxiety, that means it means something to you. And we have to perform even if we're nervous, even if we're afraid. If you're going into a bank to get a loan, all right, to save your business, to save your family, that means something. You better have nerves when you walk in there and talk to the banker. Because if you don't, you're not going to care. You're not going to put on a good performance. And that goes for athletics as well. It goes for everything in life. If we don't care about it, we're not nervous. Fear is good. Anxiety is good. You can't let it take over your existence. You just have to live with it and understand it, and understand that it's going to be there.
When I was a kid, earning my black belt and helped so many other things in my life, more than just the knowledge of martial arts. Talk about just the idea of other aspects, other folds of life that are improved when your discipline is such with your martial arts.
Well, it really comes down to competition and comfort. Anytime we are competing, whether it's soccer, whether it's martial arts, whether it's wrestling, whether it's in a spelling bee, all right, we have to be okay with being uncomfortable and being almost in pain. You have to be okay with that to endure, because that is what success takes. We can't do anything short term. And athletics teach us to, once we feel discomfort, to keep going, to keep pushing through that. Otherwise, we're not going to achieve anything. We're not going to achieve any success. We're never going to achieve a goal. Think about running. I hate running. I hate it as much as I've hated anything in life. For me, the second I start running, if I'm going to run, we'll say 5 miles, 4 steps into it, I hurt. Everything hurts. Everything's uncomfortable. I'm breathing heavy. You're fine. It's okay. Just keep doing it. And what athletics and martial arts and fighting teaches us is that just because you're out of breath, say we're out of breath and my heart rate is at, 170 and everything hurts and I don't feel like I can keep going. Well, I can keep going and I could actually go harder, but not just for a minute or 2 minutes, but actually way harder for way longer. But we don't think we can because we hit that discomfort level and we feel that pain and we think that means stop. And it doesn't. That just means we're uncomfortable and that means it hurts. But we can keep going. We can endure so much more than we've ever thought. There's actually a documentary by Jimmy Chin who did El Capitan, Free Solo.
Yeah.
Talking about the guy. So everyone knows Free Solo. No. Get rid of Free Solo. It's a great movie, whatever. Go back and watch his first documentary, Miru. And that will show you the toughness of the human soul and what we can endure when we don't think that we can endure anymore. We can keep going well beyond our pain threshold.
So good. Wow. The wellness industry right now, it feels like one giant carnival ride. Powders, hacks, ice baths, biohacking, billionaires screaming into ring lights. What's the one fitness myth that makes you immediately go, Santino, oh man, we've completely lost the plot?
Oh, which one hasn't at this point? What's funny is it's not the myths. It's not any of this stuff. It's the extreme version of it. Cold plunge. Look, there's a lot of benefits to cold plunge. All right. We'll just take that as an example. But then next thing you know, it's like cold plunge was the greatest thing in the world. You have to cold plunge 75 times a day. If you cold plunge, you'll be able to fly. You'll be rich. You'll be good looking. It's like,
right.
Whoa. Slow down.
Yeah.
Cold plunge is great, but moderation. Heat exposure, the sauna, same thing. It's like, oh, the sauna's good. Next thing you know, the sauna's great. Next thing you know, sauna will make you fly. And like everyone calm down. Moderation is the key. And all of these things, there's a little bit of merit to a lot of these things. And people take merit in a small amount. But look, cold plunge and moderation isn't saleable. It's not going to get Instagram clicks. So you've got a cold plunge at a billion, times normal levels to get people to click on it and to look and to sell. And really, if you look at social media, everything that they're doing, it's a sale. Every time you see a video on social media, somebody is selling and you're not paying money, but you're paying with your views. And that's what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the clicks. Think about politics, whether you're on the left or the right, the middle doesn't get clicks. It's the polar left, the polar right that's getting the clicks. And that's what social media is in the health industry as well. Because it's saleable. Moderation isn't saleable. And we want to make money, right? And that's what I'm trying to bring people back. One of the things I do in this book is I do dispel some of the diets, some of the fad myths, some of these fad, supplements and things like that. But more than anything, this book helps people understand information and what is good information and what is bad information. And we're all different physiologically, psychologically, emotionally. I might need something different for my health journey than you need for your health journey. And I might look at a piece of literature and go, oh, that is perfect for me. Well, it's not perfect for you. So you need to be able to read that literature and read that study and look at this Instagram video and go, I think this probably has merit, or I think this probably doesn't have merit. And if you can decide and look at information and discern, well, now you can do anything with that. But your information is different than my information. And, if I'm a fish, I need a different diet than a cheetah, right?
That's a great point. One of the wilder chapter titles in the book, I think it says, Be Delusional. And honestly, I think most people hear that word and they immediately connotate negativity, dangerous even. But you argue that almost every elite performer needs a certain level of delusion. And I like this point, like this irrational belief that you can do something that might even be statistically improbable. So where is that line between a healthy delusion where it doesn't become self-destruction?
Well, I don't know what the healthy line is. I think the healthy line is going toward a goal. And is your goal something that is realistic and positive? Well, you don't want to lose your family over these things, but honestly, maybe you do. I mean, not to say that you want to, but if the goal is so big that you're willing to give up your family, I don't know, it's a business. You're trying to grow a business and your whole life is like, look, that's not the way that I would want to live my life. But if the goal is the goal, so my goal for business is to be able to provide for my family. It's not to grow the business to the biggest business it's ever been, but a lot of successful people have, I mean, look at all the successful athletes, the successful businessmen who have gone through 1, 2, 3 wives, multiple kids, because the goal, their business, whatever, was bigger than their family and whatever. Mine isn't, but we have to be delusional to get anywhere because you already said it, statistically possible. We have a law of averages that says that we're not going to be amazing. We're not going to be successful, overly successful in relation to our peers. We're going to be right in the middle, right where the law of averages put us. Mm-hmm. And we have to fight against that law of average because otherwise we're all going to be average. And if we take every teacher, every coach, every statistic that said we're not going to make it to D1 sports, that we're not going to make it to pro sports, that we're not going to be successful in business, that our business is going to fail within 5 years, well, then we're never going to do anything and we're going to be statistically average. We have to believe that we can be the one person to get through that law. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. And now look, not every delusional person is going to be successful and reach their goal, but every successful person has some sort of delusion in them to think that they're the one that they can do it.
There's another powerful moment in the book where I think it was where Korean Zombie was talking about pushing harder and harder in camp. And you're kind of realizing his low heart rate, it wasn't elite conditioning. It was overtraining. And I want to zoom out. I want to take that example and really zoom out. You think modern culture, are we doing this a lot where we're completely confusing burnout with excellence?
100%. And I say this to fighters. Do you want to be a workhorse or do you want to be a racehorse?
Yes.
And there's a big difference. So many fighters are addicted to the tired. They're addicted to the workout. They're addicted to feeling drained after a workout because they feel that did something good for them. And there's a dopamine response and a serotonin response into pushing our bodies that far. If you want to be a workhorse, go get in the field and plow all day, all night, and man, be tired the next day. But if you want to be a racehorse, if you want to be elite, you're not going to be in the fields plowing all day. You're not going to have any energy. You've got to regulate and you've got to work. We've heard this a billion times, smarter, not harder. And sometimes smarter is harder. Sometimes the thing to do is to just work as hard as you can, but not always. And we have to regulate that. And like the David Goggins of the world is just wake up at 3, have 27 days in your life or in one 24-hour period. It's like, look, that's not feasible for most. And it's not a great way to live for most. And we need to moderate working hard with not working hard and working smart. Sometimes the best thing to do is not to go out in the field and try and sell, but to sit at home and read a book and maybe learn something. But if we're not out in the field trying to sell, if we're not on the mats or in the gym working as hard as we can, we think, man, I'm not doing what I should be doing. But sometimes what you should be doing to get you further is nothing. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's not always a up and to the right chart.
Yeah, and you really, when you kind of like tweak that a little bit, as we glamorize exhaustion like it's proof of ambition, you really hammer home the importance in Fight Ready, the importance of sleep. And honestly, sleep might be the least respected performance tool in America, but you really talk about, the sleep question, this is important.
Sleep is more powerful than any substance that you can take at all. I mean, take all the steroids you want. If you're not sleeping, you're going to be a train wreck. Sleep is the super drug. Take all the nootropics you want, take all the caffeine you want, take anything that you want in existence. And if you are not sleeping, it's not going to matter. Everything, all of our brain function cleans itself out and repairs at night. Our hormones are regulated at night. like if you're not sleeping, what are we doing? I prioritize sleep over anything. If it's 9:30 and I'm tired at night and I'm like, man, like last night I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to start, getting on the radio and different tours and stuff. It was 9:26 and I was like, oh, I'm going to bed because I know I have to be up early tomorrow, and I will prioritize sleep over everything that there is, because otherwise I can't function. And if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. And if you're not recovering, then you're just breaking yourself down, whether it's emotional, mentally, psychologically, or physically, again and again and again and again. You have to recover. You have to recover to build. And remember, the gains are made in recovery. Lifting weights breaks your muscles down. Mm-hmm. It's the recovery process of not lifting weights and letting them rebuild that's actually making you stronger. And so you have to balance those two things.
The title Fight Ready sounds physical, but the more I sit with it, especially with what's going on with my dad, it's the more emotional those words fight ready becomes to me. What does being fight ready actually mean? I want to hear it in your words, not just my interpretation. When life hits you outside the ring, divorce, in my case, grief, failure for some, anxiety, could be heartbreak for some. Where does fight ready? Where does someone listening here? They got their own lens. I'm listening with my own lens. What does fight ready mean for them?
Well, one of the first things I say in the book is define your fight. What is your fight? What are you fighting for? And a fight might be physical, it might be mental, it might be psychological. You might be fighting for, a better business. You might be fighting for your family. You right now are fighting, with grief through some of the things that you're going through right there. And we have to be able to endure through the fight. And the biggest thing is we can't get too excited when things are good, and we can't get too sad and down when things are bad, because those two things don't last. We've got to just keep going and understand that whether you're grieving, life goes on. You still have a whole life. Like no matter what happened that went wrong, whatever you're grieving, whatever you're sad over, you are still living. Your friends and family are still living. You have got to continue living. And so you've got to continue one foot in front of the other, continuing on forward, because look, the grief is going to go away at some point. And then the next time you're the most happy you've ever been, you're the most excited you've ever been, don't get too excited. You're going to run, you're going to sprint, you're going to burn yourself out. Temper that a little bit as well. The biggest thing is you have to know your fight. And what are you actually fighting for? What are you actually, like, why are you doing what you're doing? And we need a why, because if we don't have a why, that's when we get lazy, and that's when we sit in front of the TV and we do our 9 to 5, and then we come home and watch TV for 5 hours, and then we go to bed. Without that why, humans, we're not good without a why. Life is too easy right now. Maybe in 1640, we didn't necessarily need the why, because it was like, well, we got to get to the fields or we're not going to eat. The why was sustaining ourselves. That why has changed right now. We have food, we have air conditioning, we have electricity. We need to find our why. And if you find your why, and if that is your goal, there is nothing that's going to get in the way of that.
Everybody wants to know how to get stronger, but very few people teach you how to stay standing when life gets hard. And that why. I got to tell you, Santino, this conversation, kind of starts about fighting fitness and performance, and somewhere along the way it becomes about how to survive being human. And I think that's why Fight Ready is really going to hit people harder than they expect. This is a great conversation.
I hope so. I really hope that whatever struggle, whatever fight people are going through, that this book can help them a little bit along the way in their journey toward winning that fight.
Appreciate you making us all a little bit more ready for whatever life throws at us. I can't thank you enough for the time. Thank you for being Up and Adam, Santino.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, San Luis Obispo, for keeping wrestling alive.
Yeah.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Wow, what a pleasure. Check it out. The book is called Fight Ready: How to Get Fit, Lose Weight, and Kick Ass in Everything You Do. And if today's conversation resonates, we got links for the book and everything Santino in the show notes. Yes. Very good. All right, I want to thank my friends Mountain Air for being Up and Adam, a place in San Luis Obispo to last for over 50 years in retail anywhere. It's tough. And these guys are doing it because of the way they are doing it. And they're still doing it with a freaking REI around the hill. You know what I mean? Like on the other side of the hill, a couple miles away from them. I love Josh and Lindsay Herring. They do fantastic work. They're right there on Marsh Street. And what are they doing? Before the term touch grass was popular, they've been helping you do it. Yeah, for 50 years plus, helping you get outside at all skill levels, hiking, camping, climbing. When there's snow, they're helping you get out there too. They're just great people. And when you walk into the Mountain Air, you're seen. They can help you with whatever you need. They're happy to look something up, order something for you, check it out. Like they got you covered. All right, check them out. They're on Marsh Street, themountaineer.com. Also a couple doors down, their sister shop, The Switchback. When you're thinking of when you're thinking of starting a new hobby or maybe getting rid of some of the equipment because you're moving on to a different hobby, maybe somebody else can have a crack at it. They buy and sell used gear, theswitchback.com. Also, check out themountaineer.com, The Mountain Air, San Luis Obispo. All right, love it. Week moving on. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Thanks to our friends Moonshiner Collective for original music on their show called Start Again. Stream them wherever you get your music. Also, moonshinercollective.com. Also want to thank our friends at the Slow Cal Studios. This show recorded at Slow Cal Studios in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. Slow Cal, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. For turns well taken, visit slowcal.com. That's SLOCAL, slowcal.com. Till tomorrow, I'm Adam Montiel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.